Hello, good morning and welcome back to the fish locker out on the boat. Now, as you can probably see, it is not the best day in the world. Yesterday was absolutely stunning. Today, not so much. We have a little bit of a breeze. It's norwesterly at the minute and then it's going to be backing round towards southerly. What we've got at the moment is we've got a last couple of hours of the tide and I'm on like a reef pinnacle. What I'm hoping to do, I've already had one drift over the top and I've got 5 poke rod and a pouting. All I'm doing is I'm drifting over it with some mackerel feathers with a little bit of bait on them because I want to see what there is down there. I want to see if there's pouting, whiting, poke rod, that type of thing. Because if you can find little fish on a mark, you might find big fish on a mark. If there aren't any little fish, there won't be any big fish because there's nothing for the big fish to eat. So these drifts are a bit of a recce but also bait collection. That there, that pouting is perfect. Perfect size for a bait, and it's the best indication that there will be conger on this bit of reef. Fantastic. Sharp teeth. Fantastic conger bait. Stick a bit of water in that bucket. Might be able to send that one down as a live bait. There you go. All I've got is some mackerel tinsels and I've stuck a little tiny bit of ragworm on there. And I'm literally, just saw what I was doing. Got an 8-ounce lead, I'm in 147 feet of water. And I'm drifting that way. Well, tide's going kind of that way, wind's going that way, so I'm going in diagonal. I'm literally just drifting over the top of it. I will finish this drift off because then I will know roughly what direction the boat's going to lay on the anchor. No 2 drifts are ever the same, so it's always better to do 1 or 2. Just so you know roughly what direction the boat's going to lay. There's one, another bite straight away. But yeah, poke rod, pouting and whiting. It is a very snaggy area, it is very much. So you've got to pay attention to what you're doing. All I'm doing is I'm just feeling the lead touching, and if you feel it getting higher and higher, you wind up a bit because you're coming up. And then if you lose the bottom, let off a bit of line because you're losing it again. I've just got the anchor rope all pulled out beneath my feet and I've got the anchor set up. As soon as I finish this drift, I will show you my anchor setup. The wind is supposed to drop away. Don't really like talking about it because it'll know I'm talking about it. And it'll... Got a little poke rod or something on there now. Whenever I'm fishing feathers like this and I get a poke rod, you can tell it's a poke rod because it's just like a little tiny rattle. It's hooked itself. You might as well leave it down there. You've got more hooks and something else might eat a poke rod. So by hooking one, you've effectively got yourself a live bait. Right, I'm going to say a couple of poke rod. Now that is a cracking live bait size. Perfect little pouty. If we've been fishing in shallower water, that'd have been a bass bait, that. My anchor setup is pretty simple. I have got videos on the channel showing people how I anchor areas like reefs and wrecks. Basically, when I'm anchoring up on a really rocky area, I use a grapnel anchor, but rigged like that, with a weak link in here. Now this is a £100 mono, and it's rigged to trip out backwards. So if it gets locked in like that, when it starts to pull, eventually this weak link will break, it'll collapse the anchor and it'll pull it out backwards. And I have around about 12 to 15 feet of chain, and I rig mine with an Alderney ring, which is one of them. Now this is crucial for when you're hauling the anchor. I'll show you all that when I come to pulling it. But yeah, very basic. The main area where we're going to be anchoring is going to be around about 150 feet of water. So generally you'll need to put out 300 to 350 feet of rope. It's all explained in the anchoring video. I will put a link to it in the description of this video. Just letting the rope slide through the ring. I have my anchor rope marked like that in distances. The reason for that is if you don't have any markers on it, you don't know how much you've let out. I'll show you when we get to a marker. 2 bands, 200 feet. Tightened it up a little bit short. That way I'm hoping that we'll drag and the anchor will bed. As soon as it starts to swing the boat around, I'll know that the anchor's held, and I'll let a little bit more rope off. We'll end up where we need to be. When I'm anchoring in soft ground, what I sometimes do is I'll hold onto the rope and I'll run the boat astern so I can feel the tension increasing as the anchor digs into the ground. I don't want to do that here because it's a grapple anchor. If it digs in too tight, it'll trip it out. I'll have to start again. I don't know if you can see it's starting to swing the boat round now. Perfect. I'm happy with that. Just dropped down with my feathers just to see what the seabed was like. And literally the second that they touched the bottom, I didn't even have a chance to turn the camera on. Just like doosh. I'm hoping it's something like a scab. It's a great bait. Well, it could be anything. Oh. Wasn't expecting that. Little baby pollock. Well, it shows we're on the hard stuff. Literally just dropped down. Whoop. Wow! Tell you what, that is a big pouting. That is a jumbo pouting. Definitely in the right place. Get one of them bigger baits down now. We are swinging around quite a bit. Problem with that when you're on a reef, it would have been real rocky. If you're going to be fishing down in the rocks for an eel or something like that, and you're swinging around a lot, you've got a chance of hitching your gear up in the rocks. I'm experimenting with a new type of rig today. I've had great success with it in the past, but I haven't used it in a while. And I've got some new hooks that I'm going to trial it with. Basically, I am hair rigging a live bait on the back of a big hook. I will explain this. That's that little pouching that I've just caught. I'll explain the rig in a second once I've dropped this down. This type of rig, you're looking at catching a big fish, something big enough to swallow that bait whole. Ideally like a big conger or a ling, but with a bait that size, a bass might take it as well. Top might take it. Fish that on the ratchet. Put that in the holder. Right. That rig, like I was talking about. Talk to you now. A friend of mine has just shown me these hooks. Cox and Roll have just brought out a new type of hook. It's called a stinger, which is this. Now the shape, as soon as I looked at it, I thought that's going to lend itself to being hair rigged quite easily. So what I've done, this is 200 pound mono, and I've used a snell knot. There is a video on the channel showing you how to make this rig. I've rigged a hair rig, and this is a 6/0 Mutsu circle. The reason I'm using a circle hook for rigging it as a hair rig is because you can bait this and the fish will hook itself. But also with a circle hook, once the fish is hooked on it, it generally doesn't come off. You hook on a live bait onto here and it swims around, or it's alive, and it leaves this whole hook point proud. So something comes and eats your live bait and swallows the bigger hook, it gets hooked up. That's the theory. Like I say, as the boat's heeing and hawing around, we are likely to hear the ratchets going a bit. It's not because there's a fish there, it's because the boat's swinging. The reason why I choose to fish them on the ratchet when we're swinging like this is because if you fish them tight to the drag and you dragged them around, you would likely drag them into a snag. Whereas now you've got a little bit more chance of the bait and the weight staying stationary and just the boat moving. I've got my live bait down on one rod, and on this one I've just dropped down a mackerel flapper. And almost instantly, literally within the time it took me to just clear the deck a little bit, getting a bite on the mackerel flapper. Now pouting can give a really good bite, especially if it's one of those big ones. So a couple of those fighting over the bait would give a good bite. But to be honest, to me, it felt a little bit stronger than that. Tell you what, that one playing with the bait for ages. It's a big bait. I had to change the mackerel flapper and I put a pouting flapper on. And I swear it was playing with that bait for ages. Not a bad size eel. Don't you dare! Oof. That was lucky. I was spinning my lead off. I hope you got to see that. It was spinning and spinning. Just turned the hook off, look. I thought it's going to snap, it's going to ping my lead off there. But yeah, I don't know if you can manage to see it on the surface there. Just spins and spins and spins until it works its way through the mono. Oh well, first fish. That's a fish, that. Yeah, that's a fish. Like a steady one is a wave. Whenever it gives like a double or an erratic one, it's a fish. Oh, it's dropped it. Didn't have the bait fully in its mouth. It might have been a smaller one. Yep, that is indicative of a small eel. A rig wrecking strap conger. Not big enough to get the whole thing in its mouth, just big enough to make a nuisance. And we're back. Try a couple of them. Ah well. 1 out of 2. Oh, you. This is my 3rd time of re-anchoring the boat because the wind keeps dropping and then it's at, hopefully 3rd time's the charm. Now, other than that conger that I snapped off at the side, I've dropped 2 on the way up, which kind of tells me that they're either small or that they're feeding very finicky. Sometimes you get them and they'll swallow it straight off. Other times they seem to, for some whatever reason, they play with the baits. So I'm going to try scaling down to using smaller baits. I've got a little octopus on one, I've got a live bait rig on the other, and I've got some baited feathers on the other one to try and pick up another live bait. Hopefully we'll find some fish. I've just had a big eel take me into a hole in the reef and I've just snapped off, and on the other rod I've just got another bite. This is the lighter rod. Not massive, but it's big enough. This is pretty much a typical stamp for a reef conger. He'd be, might go £10. Whoa, look, it really is a dog eat dog world. A big conger has had hold of this one. See that bite mark near my hand? There, look. Yeah, bigger reels had hold of this. Wouldn't mind catching one that's tried to take a bite out of it. I want that bait back. There's the bait. Octopus is a fantastic conger bait. Just chucked a load of salt water in my mouth. Right. Just turn the hook out like that. Yeah, that octopus is a fantastic bait. Really tough. Send that straight back down, catch another one. Right, the tide's fully turned now. I just keep swinging about too much and I'm losing too much gear. All my leads keep getting stuck in the bottom. Keep pinging off. So all I'm going to do now is I'm going to haul the anchor up and I'm going to steam back and I'm going to go and check my crab pots. It wasn't a bad morning. We trialled out a new mark with 3 congers to the boat. Lost one, well, one parted itself off right at the side. That was the best one of the day. That was probably, I don't know, £15. So I hope it shows in the water. Stacks of pouting, a couple of cuckoo wrasse. It was, well, you can see what type of day it was. Yeah, the rigs that I was using was only real simple. This is one that's just parted off now. It was just a very simple sliding lead, then with a strong mono hook length. This setup did catch. Got one to the boat and lost one, which is a Cox and Roll stinger. Oh, days when it's like this, everything's just a chore. That was a new stinger design hook with a hair rig, and that was just a little pouting flapper. I found that the flappers were working better than the live baits. I think it's just because they were a bit finicky today. Some days the live baits trigger like a real aggressive strike. Today just wasn't that day. I think what I'll do is I'll come back to this mark, I'll come back to this little piece of reef and I'll try it again on another day when it's better conditions. Fishing reefs at anchor for things like conger should be easier than fishing on a wreck, because when you're fishing on a wreck and you swing around, you can swing more than 50 feet and you're off the wreck, whereas if you're in the middle of a reef and you swing around 150 feet, you're still on rough ground. Oh sorry, this rod here was the one that we rebuilt. The video for the rebuild is on the Fish Locker workshop. It works fine, doesn't it? Yeah, fishing on a reef, you can swing around all over the place and you're still on reef. The congers generally aren't as big though. That's the only downside. My general conger setup is an Ugly Stick GX2 3050 and a Shimano TLD 20. I was say 25 then, no it's not, it's a 20. Shimano TLD 20. And on there I think I have £60 braid and £100 rubbing leader. Right, I'll get myself squared away and then we'll pull the anchor up. Yeah, clever. Taking the rope round the cleat. and the buoy is sliding down the boat. Now all you do, this is also why it's easier if you just loop it inside the boat, so you're not struggling to get hold of it. Now all you do is you just pull it in towards yourself. There you go. That's what you end up with. As it was, the weak link didn't even break out. That's hauling an anchor with the Alderney method. So much easier than hauling it by hand.